Welcome back to Decatur Schools News, the crisis in Tibet, and what we're doing to end it. I'm Jessica Marion, joined here with Darrell Tapscott and Bill Workman. Tonight, our main focus is what are revolutions that will happen and what a nation goes against a government. We'll be discussing what social and political factors lead a nation to revolution, mostly primarily focused on the crisis in Tibet, which includes cultural issues too. Our first question tonight is for Darrell. So, what was the first invasion that the Chinese had on Tibet?
The Chinese invaded Tibet in 1949 and stayed there until 1951. This attack caused many thousands of citizens to move away from their homes. During this invasion, 1.2 million people also died being attacked by the communist troops.
I still believe that the invasions will not stop because to this day China is continuing to send more and more troops into Tibet to stop protests and steal resources, causing outbreaks of violence and protests.
Okay, so how would you compare and contrast this issue in Tibet to the American Revolution?
Well, just like the Chinese are doing now, the British would invade the American colonies during the Revolutionary War, causing protests and outbreaks of violence to happen. When the Chinese invaded Tibet, they made them sign an agreement saying that China has full control over the Tibetan region. This is just like how the British forced the American colonies to abide by the unfair rules and acts placed by them. However, the colonies were already part of the British government, and Tibet was its own region before the invasions.
Okay, so how would you describe the Chinese government's plans and rules for Tibet?
The rules set in place for Tibet are unfair and cruel. The rules have an effect against the Tibetan people's culture and identity. It limits how the Tibetans can act and suppress their culture. If the Chinese plans for Tibet succeeds, the Tibet would cease to exist and be consumed by the Chinese communist government.
However, I believe that China is not making rules for violence or for power, but for peace to find Tibet and China.
Alright, so what are some human rights that they're actually violating in Tibet?
The Chinese are violating the freedom of speech, which causes many people to die if they protest. They are also violating the freedom of religion. They burn down many monasteries. They are also violating a big part of their own land, which the Chinese have taken away from them. These violations are very similar to the ones made by the British against the colonists. For example, many people plan to kick off from Massachusetts to create their own colony for religious freedom.
Okay, so what steps are actually needed to make the Chinese government let Tibet be finally free?
If Tibet wants to be free from China, they may say, we were already here, but now you're trying to take away what we know and make it your own. Tibet should show China that being their own region has shown Chinese people no harm. China is like the British in the American Revolution. They brought chaos and protests to themselves. And Tibet doesn't want war, they just want peace and freedom like they had so long ago.
I disagree about that. The Chinese bring chaos and protests to Tibet, like the British, because the British was not causing threats or resources, but about power.
Okay, what are some similarities that the American Revolution has for Tibet?
Well, the American Revolution and Tibet were both fighting for freedom for a much larger purpose than themselves. Also, like the British did to the colonists, the Chinese wants to make Tibet just like them, even though the culture and the way they live makes them thin. The Sons of Liberty were fighting for freedom during the revolution, almost like the many states and countries that are trying to help Tibet become free. Overall, even though the American Revolution happened many years ago, before this, there are many similarities between what pushed the colonists over the edge to fight for freedom and what Tibet is facing as well.
Okay, so what are some differences that they have?
Although there are many similarities between the two, there are also many differences. Many causes of the American Revolution corresponded with taxation without representation and unfair rules set in place by the British. But Tibet wants freedom because the Chinese are taking away their culture. The effects of the Revolutionary War caused the colonists to have complete control over their own lives, land, government, and country. However, since the revolution has not yet occurred in Tibet, we are not sure of the outcome of it. We all hope to see freedom in Tibet soon. Unlike Tibet having many allies that help raise awareness of what's happening, the colonists didn't have much in the help while fighting. This led the British to win many other battles. Thankfully, the outcome was good because of the French decision to ally with them. We won't know for sure what the outcome of the revolution for Tibet against China will have, but we can still hope.
Can you predict what they would do if Tibet had the chance to revolt against China?
If Tibet was given a chance to revolt against China, I believe they would take the chance. Many other regions around the world would try to help them too. Tibet can agree with me saying this. They have been in a state of agony for years ever since the Chinese has invaded. They don't know much about technology and the new ways of living either. But if they revolt against the Chinese, it would be a quiet outcome for both Tibet and China. Tibetans have believed that violence is not the answer, but China has other opinions. Everyone hopes that Tibet can be free from the distress given to them from the Chinese.
You make some good points, but in all honesty, I believe that Tibet would not win in a revolution against China and its government, because China is one of the most powerful governments in the world, just right behind the USA and Russia. They have way more powerful allies than Tibet does. This means they would also have way more resources and supplies to get the job done.
Okay, well that's all the time we have, but overall we all believe that Tibet is in deep need of a revolution. This can have many upsides to it, especially with the help of others. If they started a revolution, they would be able to gain back their independence and culture. There are many other commenters that believe that it would be impossible for Tibet to win a revolution against China. However, the Americans had many doubters of their winnings, but since the help of their allies led them to win, Tibet also has many other allies, over 258 to be exact. So today we concluded many similarities and differences of the American Revolution against Tibet, and we overall concluded the question of what leads a nation to revolt against a government.